So you keep being my best tenant, and I'll be your biggest fan. Deal? The cops came by to ask me about that, but I wasn't here at the time. This may not be much, but it's mine, and I love it. Just get the holes patched before you move out, or I will keep your security deposit. Nice guy, but he's got some screws loose. Dumbest name ever for a shop.
Ja, irgendwie schon, ja.
Look, I know I used to joke with you about Chelsea being in love with me, but that was just my jealousy talking.
Hm.
That's Louis' niece, right? Tall, brunette. Oh. I've got to steer clear of his diner. Too many chocolate memories.
Ja, ja. Vor allem seine Schokoladentorte.
Look, I've had my own problems, as you know. I was in a kind of a dark place 7 years ago. Dark, bitter, sometimes nuts, raisins, or God help me, marshmallows. Nice girl for circuits and chips. We don't need to talk about that, do we? That was a real tragedy.
Ja, das war's. Wenn stimmt, was ich nicht glaube.
I can't help you with that. I can barely work a toaster. Maldonado? Nothing but trouble. I steer clear of that hombre. Maldonado is spying on you? Are you sure it was you? Me? I'm just living the dream. One chocolate-free day at a time.
Ja. Na gut. Sonst können wir nichts mehr fragen? Nee. Das ist ja mal, das sind ja hier Offenbarungen. Also Clint und Nilo ist jetzt eine Frau und... Oh. Ja, ich bin mal gespannt, was wir von den anderen noch erfahren. So, hoffentlich müssen wir hier nicht wieder was bezahlen.
Rumor is Zach Williams, owner of the electronics shop, is tied to organized crime. Oh, we've had our problems in the past. For example, the last time I was here, he shot my credit card into 1,000,000 pieces. I'm hoping he's in a little better humor today and doesn't blow my brains out, or even worse.
Okay, I don't want any trouble.
Auch schön. Ach, das ist so cool. Das war ja wie bei, wo war es jetzt? Pandora Directive. Wo wir da genauso reinkommen und der zerschießt unsere Karte und er ist wieder da. Ich finde das schön. Und jetzt hat er natürlich Angst, weil wir der Schrecken der Unterwelt sind. Ja. Schön. Schuld bezahlen, Geschichtsstunde, gleiche Seite. Ne, Geschichtsstunde, was ist passiert?
Well, that makes two of us. Last time I was here, you shot my credit. Literally.
Why you keep hassling me about that? That was years ago. I paid back all those interest charges. Plus interest.
Aha. Aufschreibewertung, Regierungsversehen, vergessene Talente. Vergessene Talente?
Remind me, how did I get you to do that?
Everyone knows what happens to people who get on your bad side. Only one reason you ever come in here, and it ain't to buy anything. You know all our stuff is junk.
Nein, überhaupt nicht. Wir haben ja schon voll die tollen Sachen gekriegt. Ermitteln, Zeit für eine neue Marke, schlecht. Ne, ermitteln.
I just want to know what's going on upstairs.
Look, the guys upstairs don't want any trouble either. They said you can have whatever you want at cost. You can even put it on credit. Then I'll just tear up the bill.
Das klingt ja sehr verlockend. Wird nicht wieder getäuscht. Tote Männer erzählen keine Geschichten. Architekturwitz. Oh.
Oh, I'm not talking about your bosses. I'm talking about the guy upstairs, the dead one.
Look, I know how much you hated Maldonado, and I probably shouldn't have let him use the second floor. But he was paying cash, and he kept a low profile. So I thought it was all good. I didn't know what he was doing up there, and I didn't want to know.
Ah, Einschüchterungstaktik, darauf kannst du wetten, dass du es besser machst. Bescheidene Angeberei. Darauf kannst du wetten, dass du es besser machst.
So how about you answer a few questions for me, and maybe things will end up a little better for you than they did for, say, Carlos?
Das war jetzt aber gemein.
You the man, okay? We good? Look, I told the cops I wasn't here, which is technically true. I just parked out back when I heard the gunshots, so I just started the engine right back up and got the hell out. You live there, so I'm not gonna say a thing about it. That place opened up a couple of months ago. Doesn't look like my kind of joint. I do love Louie's cooking. Just don't ask what's in it and you'll be fine. All I know is you ain't the same guy that came slinking in here 7 years ago. Sorry to hear about that. Is that what turned you into Mr. Badass?
Ja, ich weiß es nicht. Ich kann mich ja nicht erinnern.
I think he's the one who came by to check in on Maldonado. Must have been a client. Don't know anything else about him. I sell items to customers, not purchase them. Sure, Maldonado was a creep, but his money spent just the same. He said he needed to do a stakeout of the Ritz. Didn't mention any specific names. Didn't sound like a big deal, and he was offering a good chunk of change. I saw him bring in some cameras, so he must have been recording the surveillance. But whatever he had got confiscated by the cops. That guy's a go-getter. Why don't you get him to answer these questions? Let's just leave me out of this, okay?
Okay. Aber schön, dass Zack noch da ist. Also ich finde es immer toll, wenn wir alte Gesichter wiedersehen. Ja. Ups, wir sind ja schon raus. Okay. Mal schnell bei Clint gucken.
Always happy to help out my best tenant.
Jack Williams.
That guy's all mobbed up, so I keep my distance.
Ah ja, das ist schon verständlich. Dann würde ich mal sagen, auf zu Louis. Zum Bro and Stew. Hey Murph. Ich mag Louis.
It's real good having you stop in more regular. How can I help you?
Ja, also, Chelsea's tot. Was ist da los?
I can't really talk about that.
Oh.
If she died the way the cops said she did, burned inside your speeder, it's just too much to think about. I keep a little hope that maybe she ain't dead at all. Or at least that maybe she died in a more peaceful way.
Ja, hoffentlich, hoffentlich.
I'm no good with that computer stuff, but that little fella at the barbecue joint is a whiz. I'll bet he could get you taken care of.
Ah ja, das ist schon mal der Tipps Gold wert. Das heißt, wir sollten gleich mal rüber zu Inspector Burns.
You wouldn't remember him. He moved into the neighborhood a few years back. Not a pleasant man. I'll leave it at that.
Ja, das ist wohl auch manchmal besser, ne? Keiner mag ihn.
So that so-and-so was spying on you. You and I wasn't real close, so I couldn't say why he'd been doing that. That Clint's really come up in the wild. Though I still hide the chocolate cake when he drops by. I don't want him falling back into his, old ways.
Ja, das stimmt. Also Clint hat sich wirklich in jedem Teil immer weiter gesteigert. Und dass Louis dann extra den Schokokuchen versteckt, wenn er kommt, ist schon echt nett von Louis.
Zach don't come in here a whole lot. I guess he don't like my food much. Haven't had another food joint on the street since Francesca ran the Slice of Heaven. I thought it might cut into my business some, but not so far. Maybe we just don't have a lot of barbecue eaters around here.
Ja, das könnte natürlich sein, ne? So, dann gehen wir nochmal schnell zu den beiden, weil wir haben ja bestimmt wieder neue Themen.
Not again. You're gonna get me fired. Or worse.
Hier.
I don't know what it is they're serving in there, but it sure as hell ain't barbecue.
Ich? Das ist aber komisch. Na gut. Was ist mit Clint? Ich frage mich ja ernsthaft, ob wir Nilo noch treffen hier in dem Spiel. Also ich würde mich freuen. Also beziehungsweise der heißt ja jetzt Nioli? Nee. Ah, ich habe den Namen vergessen.
You know, it used to really piss me off, the way you'd always come around asking your questions, but now that you're paying me for it, I really don't mind.
Ja.
I haven't tried it. They say that the sauce will melt your eyeballs, and that's a risk I'm just not willing to take.
Na gut. Dann auf zum Inspector Burns.
As I step into Inspector Burns' barbecue, I think I'm having a stroke. But no, burning toast is their special today. Behind the counter is the kid who Louis referred me to as the computer whiz.
When you come to my house, come down behind the jail. I got a sign on my door, barbecue for sale. I'm talking about my barbecue, only thing I play.
Welcome to Inspector Burns' barbecue. My name is Mojo. Special today is chili con carnage. It'll destroy your hunger as well as your taste buds. Order when you're ready.
Was können wir denn? Namenswitz, Märchenwitz, kulinarische Darmspiegelung. Ja, machen wir mal kulinarische Darmspiegelung.
Miami Vice. A ham, cheese, and habanero corn dog, deep fried and wrapped in bacon. Does that come with a free colonoscopy?
Hey, you're Tex Murphy.
And you're Mojo. What a shagadelic name, baby, yeah!
My real name is Mordecai Josephus.
Are you serious? Well, that's my real name, too.
No way!
Yeah, well, it's pretty close. It's actually Tiberius, James Tiberius. Then my mom, she starts calling me Tibby, and, well, I had to come up with something that I could live with.
The ultimate Tex Murphy trivia. You just made my day. Look, I don't mean to geek out on you here, but you're Tex Murphy. Badass private eye. Man out of time. Always quick with a joke or his fist. What are you doing in a dump like this?
Ja, was machen wir hier? Also er scheint ja ein ziemlicher Fan zu sein, Mojo. Schlag ihn, wo es weh tut. Kammerjäger, das Offensichtliche sagen. Was ist das Offensichtliche?
I'm guessing you haven't won any Employee of the Month awards, have you?
Nice. Classic Tex Murphy.
Spiel mit Worten, Multitasking, eine Vereinbarung treffen. Multitasking?
Can you talk and cook at the same time?
Oh, you don't want to eat here. The food really will burn your face off. Inspector Burns is a bitter, bitter man. So, what are you working on? Wait, let me guess. Some kind of case just dropped in your lap. Seems like a small-time job, but there are tons of loose ends leading in all kinds of directions, and you are blindly getting nowhere.
Das klingt so nach einem typischen Tex Murphy-Fall. Genau so läuft das. Sich bedeckt halten, gut geraten, Slogan. Ja, komm, gut geraten.
Well, yeah, that is kind of what's happening.
I could help you.
Es gibt eine Lücke, Kräfte fürs Böse, Zweifel. Ja, es gibt eine Lücke, ne? Eine Wissenslücke. Vielleicht kann der die ja schließen, so ein bisschen.
Well, I could use a good caterer.
You are killing me. Look, Mr. Murphy, you fancy yourself as sort of a timeless classic, a PI archetype for the ages. You know your way around the crime scene, but it's no secret that you're not so good at high-tech gadgets. That's where I come in.
Verteidigend, Eingeständnis, Optimismus. Ja, Eingeständnis.
Fine. I have a fax machine, for God's sake, and I barely know how to use that.
Whatever I can do, just let me know.
Das ist sehr gut. Dann fragen wir ihn erstmal aus, würde ich sagen.
I just can't believe I got a chance to meet my idol. Me and Archie are buds. So glad Archie opened up his shop here. He's like a god at all this conspiracy stuff. Chelsea Bando, the Nora to your Nick. I wish I could have met her. Inspector Burns has tried to torch the Bruin stew at least twice.
Inspector Burns, der.
Sometimes I spend hours just thinking about what kind of baby she and I would have together.
Ja, ein holographisches, ne?
Sorry you lost her, but man, did you ever get an attitude? Sure, I can decrypt a memory stick, no problem. It may take a while, at least a day.
Ja, okay, dann mach das doch bitte.
He's the guy you hired to take photos of your cheating wife. You're the guy they hired to beat the crap out of the guy you catch with your wife.
Was? Wir haben den selber beauftragt, uns zu beobachten, damit... Wir hatten eine Frau?
You think Maldonado was spying on you? Not surprising. He says he likes barbecue, so I'm not sure why he eats here.
Ja.
Like Inspector Burns says, it all tastes the same when your tongue's charred.
Ja, allerdings. Na gut.
Another item on my to-do list today is checking out Maldonado's regular office that's on the street.
Ach so, der hat auch noch ein Büro, ja? Okay. Wenn die jetzt alle offen haben, dann müsste ja auch eigentlich jetzt hier hinten der Hof offen sein, oder?
No, the gate's locked, but when Rook gets to work, he'll unlock it, so I'll check back later.
Aber Rook hat doch jetzt offen, oder nicht? Doch. Der hat
It's
offen.
open.
Er hat offen. Also... Na gut, dann müssen wir wahrscheinlich erstmal mit Rook reden. Dann machen wir das doch mal. Ich bin jetzt echt gespannt auf Rook.
Rook's the little gremlin who runs the pawn shop. I've heard that his hard shell is hiding a heart of gold. But if it was, he'd cut it out himself with a rusty soup can lid.
Hat sich aber auch verändert.
Murphy! Here, let me look at you. Louis told me something terrible has happened. I've been worried sick.
Hä, wieso? Wieso ist der so freundlich zu uns? Was ist los? Schnelles Update, keine Gefühlsduselei, wie wir früher einmal waren.
Since when do you care about what happens to me? Don't tell me your little Grinch heart has grown 3 sizes in the last 7 years.
Oh, Lord. Please don't tell me that lump on your head has turned you back into the pathetic, pestering P.I. I used to know. This is a nightmare.
Ja, ja. Jetzt erkenne ich dich. Sarkastisches Mitgefühl, Geheimnisse des Zauberers enthüllt. Nee, komm, jetzt erkenne ich dich.
Now that's the Rook I know. For a minute, I thought you'd started carrying a song in your heart.
It's temporary, though, right? A side effect? Please tell me you'll be changing back.
Ich weiß es nicht. Ein Text ist Miss Carol, Get Real, Geheimnisse des Zauberers enthüllt. Oh, ich weiß nicht, Get Real?
Come on, I wasn't that bad. Was I?
Look, Murphy, I'll grant you have some detective skills, but it was all relentless, annoying banter and endless questions to me. Imagine my surprise when, over the past few years, you turned into someone I could actually tolerate.
10 Dinge, die du an mir liebst, vom Gedanken abgeschreckt, Websters Wörter. Naja, hier.
No kidding. So what was it you loved most about the new me?
You cut out all the chit-chat and became a no-nonsense customer who pays in cash. You always seem to have plenty of cash.
Okay. Ungünstiger Vergleich, Schönwetterfreunde, nur die Fakten, nur die Fakten.
Okay, I'll cut the chit-chat. Just tell me where I come up with all this cash.
All my transactions are done in strictest confidence. That hasn't changed.
Persönlichkeitsvergleich, jetzt mal im Ernst, wie wäre es mit etwas Hilfe? Unverblümte Warnung. Nee, komm, hier, wie wär's mit etwas Hilfe?
I'm having a few rough days here, Rook, and all I'm trying to do is get my memory back. I could use a little help.
Fine. Though I don't know anything that could possibly explain what's happened to you. Believe me, I'd tell you if I did. Now I suppose this is where you ask if I mind answering a few questions, but this is not for old time's sake. You became a sullen, short-tempered bully, and I miss that desperately.
Das kann ich mir vorstellen, Ruck. Vor allem das Bargeld wirst du vermissen, wa?
I heard a commotion and saw a crazed man running willy-nilly down the street and 2 other men in pursuit. I was hoping they would tear that flophouse down, and they would have too if it weren't for that meddling Clint. Such an upbeat, chipper little man. Utterly obnoxious. I went there once, never again. What with that herbal tea and incense, it's a veritable gas chamber. Oof. I knew she'd get nothing but trouble being with you. Louis's niece is an absolute delight. What she sees in you is an absolute mystery. A prince among men makes me wish I could still eat solid food. Years ago, after Chelsea disappeared, you came to me looking for leads to some valuable items, among them a lost Fabergé egg. You left the street for a long time. When you returned to Chandler Avenue, you seemed like a different person, darker, more dangerous.
Was ist da passiert? Und was hat es mit diesem Fabergé und Eiern und diesen ganzen Sachen auf sich?
I understand you have a thing for holograms. Maybe she's just your type. I'm sure you know much more about that than I. Some say you know exactly what happened.
Was soll denn diese Anspielung?
That's the man you think was abducted? The one I saw being chased down the street? I never heard his name before you told me. Maldonado? He puts the PI in pig. I heard you two had something of a rivalry going on. Why would I know anything about that? If the police confiscated it, I suggest you talk to the police about it.
Ja, das klingt sinnvoll, ja.
Like I always say, you can take a bum out of a dumpster, but you'll never get a dumpster out of a bum. At least he knows how to keep his mouth shut. Just smelling the fumes coming off that establishment irritates my bowels. Next question.
Ach, schade. Ja, also hier, Inspektor verbrennt den Grill, das scheint ja echt nicht so lecker zu sein.
Now that Rook's is open, I'll bet his back gate's open too.
Ah ja. Dann gehen wir doch gleich mal da hinten gucken. Kommt jetzt die andere Killing Moon Szene mit dem Basketball?
Yeah, I used to come back here and shoot hoops until I threw my back out.
Yep.
10 seconds left. Down by 1. Murphy has the ball. He fakes. He drives. It's a 360.
Und... Au.
He's fouled.
Or was it my front?
Autsch.